Welcome back to the show. My name is Godwin Nambo here with MFA Kosiada T. It's Thursday, and on Thursdays, we like to discuss health and health-related issues, and this morning is no exception. We want to take a look. We want to discuss practical steps at dealing with depression and anxiety, and also how to generally deal with our mental health throughout the year. We're glad to have this morning a licensed clinical psychologist. She goes by Ananya Chaudhry. She is with Equilinks Counseling and Psychological Support, as well as my good friend, you know him as Lawyer NT, Richmond Amarco. He's an actor, and he's joined us this morning too. Gentlemen and lady, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Happy
New Year.
So good to have you guys. They say ladies first, but I want to begin with Richmond, if I may. Richmond, how's 2023 been for you?
It was great. It was great. We started a few projects with Links Entertainment. Now I'm at Links Entertainment, so we started projects, and it's been great. It's been great.
Yeah, you had a show called The Pastor. What's the name of that show?
Prophet Bado.
Prophet Bado. Awesome. I mean, as an entertainer, I can relate with you. It's not easy. A lot of people have spoken about 2020 and how challenging it was for them. Was it same for you?
I mean, we are living in Ghana, so
it's okay.
It's taking us granted that
Yes.
listen, nobody can be normal when you're in
Yeah,
Ghana.
no.
Interesting.
Okay.
yeah.
One would think that for somebody who entertains, and Gordon just said for an entertainer, I've experienced my colleague here, Doc, and a lot of the times he would give you hints of how I want to be by myself. People thinking that the way they see me in the movies, I should be relating to them like that. And sometimes he can completely go off social media, delete all of his pictures, delete all of his videos, and it's my cue to know that he really just wants to be by himself. And it gives me cue that he's not okay. It's not that there's something wrong, but he's not okay. So for the two of them and what they do, mainly to entertain us, I would not think, for him especially, if you go back and you go to follow his works, and they say that he's been depressed before, you may not believe it, because he can get you laughing from morning to evening, Monday to Sunday. And so I get these shocks when I hear from people like them that they've been through it. Firstly, I would want to ask you that since you started practicing in Ghana, does our lifestyle and our culture change impacting the way of our anxiety and our depression, as you may know from your home origin, like where you're coming from? Does it impact differently?
Well, stresses are same across, all over the world. It's not very different, right? So, but here in Ghana, the economy is such, the local people have to struggle a lot more, which adds to their own existing problems, you see. It's an external burden on them. So it's difficult. So I won't say that it's very different, but then it is.
Okay. I mean, that said, lawyer, which one did you say? I like how you lawyer.
Everything is fine.
You're a lawyer or prophet? Yeah, the prophet and a lawyer.
Okay, so I mean, you've said generally that 2020 was hard for us as a country, everybody. But you personally, what have you been dealing with?
Personally, I think 2023 was good for me, considering how other years went by. 2023, I was able to find a balance in connecting with myself, connecting with my faith and everything. And so it was okay for me to walk the path, because now things were clearer for me than it was before. And so 2020, it was okay for me.
Before the path got clear, is it that you didn't have a clear path? Is it in terms of career-wise, or what exactly would you say contributed to?
A lot of things. I mean, I'm a very quiet person.
Interesting.
Before Lawyer NT, very quiet. I want to be by myself all the time. But then all of a sudden, I find myself in the faces of people. Everybody wants to connect with you in a way, talk to you, and when they see me, they want Lawyer NT. I'm walking down the street, somebody sees me, they want you to just stop whatever you're doing, whatever you're going through, and then start cracking jokes for them. But I am not like that. I am shy. You looking at me, I'm shy. It doesn't make me comfortable. So all of these things started to pile up, and then 2020, 21, thereabout, I found myself confined more. It was stifling. So I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to meet people. I just wanted to be by myself, and it was just like that for me. And thoughts, it was just crazy, you know. Every time something is running in your mind, you are trying to find a way around things, but you are not seeing any light, you know, and it's just crazy. So it was like that.
Anania, so what was happening? What would you say was happening to him?
So he was going through depression for sure, symptoms like that, in the sense social withdrawal. He doesn't want to connect. He was losing interest with things that he used to enjoy, right? Then he said that he's constantly thinking there was going on. So there were negative thoughts about self, others, and the world. So with depression, you're likely to have those kind of thoughts. And it leads you to a negative spiral in such a way that it pulls you down. You become very lethargic. You don't have energy to do anything. You don't even feel like even getting out of bed or brush your teeth. The mere basic hygiene stuff, you wouldn't feel like doing it.
What's the difference between that and anxiety?
Oh, so depression is, again, both of them come under mood disorders, okay? But then for anxiety, there's a constant, you know what's bothering you, okay? And you're constantly fearful about it. It's always in the future. What if statements are there in case of anxiety, okay? So what if this goes wrong? What if I have an uncertainty and I don't know what to figure out? What if I lose my job and then these things follow? So you're constantly worrying about the future, and you're not only worrying about the future, you're negatively or catastrophizing it to the worst possible thing that could happen to you. Plus, you're also thinking that if that happens, you'll never be able to come out of it. So you're underestimating your coping skills and you're overestimating the negative outcome.
Right.
Okay? That's the thing about anxiety. So anxiety comes in different forms of it. There are again various types of anxiety. Some could have social anxiety. Some are, have general anxiety disorders, and like they're anxious about, they don't know what they're anxious about. Anything or everything could trigger them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I get the social anxiety and the general anxiety you're saying. And we're not limiting the conversation to just entertainers, because these are questions that every other person, whether a doctor, could ask themselves, what if?
Yeah.
What are some of the causes? We also mentioned economic reasons, perhaps like the way the country is and people are struggling. But what are some of the other causes that could push a person into depression or anxiety?
So when I'm talking about depression, anxiety, we are talking about mental illness. Let's understand one thing. When we talk about mental health, we directly concern it to mental illness. We have to understand it's a spectrum, okay? There's something between mental illness and there is mental wellness as well, okay? So between that spectrum, if you're clinically diagnosed with some disorder, it falls under mental illness. But regular people, professionals, like any one of us, you, I, anybody, could fall between that spectrum. Okay? So, mental wellness is when you are able to function fully. You're able to interact with your relationships and your work and your personal goals, everything you're able to manage well. But if you aren't able to manage well and your, let's say, physical health or your relationships or your work, spirituality, social life, everything gets affected. And you start to feel very overwhelming emotions within, okay? We need to understand in terms of three things: intensity, duration, and frequency, and as well as functionality. It becomes a disorder or an illness when the intensity is extremely high, the duration is very high, even the frequency is very high. and it is affecting your functionality in every sense, then you're reaching towards the mental illness.
Okay.
And not like everybody thinks for mental health, you're people on the street who are called mad.
Yeah.
No. That is perhaps just a very small spectrum of or people we see. Most of us, actually fall within this mental awareness and in between that line.
So these four variables that you've mentioned, intensity, frequency, and
Duration and
duration and
functionality.
functionality. What's the measure? Is the measure with you, the
Psychologist.
psychologist, or you measure it per the person's lifestyle? So we say that, well, normally this is how you function, but per what you're telling me now, I'll put you under your functioning is not normal, or you have a measure. You have a
No, as per individual.
Okay.
So every individual, we have different personalities, right? We think differently, we behave differently, we feel differently for the same thing. Same stimulus, we are likely to respond very differently, right? So for each of us, that is because of our own personality type. Let's say somebody is very outgoing, suddenly decides that, I won't go out anymore, or I want to avoid. Just for example, for him, he just said that he wanted to withdraw from everyone around, right? That is not him per se, right? He generally tends to make efforts to go out, or things if he would enjoy doing and he stopped doing those things. Those things don't interest him anymore. So these are some subtle changes. Then let's say changes in your sleep or appetite. Okay, suddenly you're likely to overdo it or underdo it, as in like you're sleeping more than you generally sleep, or you're sleeping very less, or you're eating way more than you eat, or you're eating very less, like you don't feel like eating at all. Okay, or let's say there's sudden change in your mood. Okay, you are likely to either be happy one time and you see the next time you're very, very sad and depressed and you're crying, or you're gloomy most of the time. That sudden change is again an indicator. Okay, you need to look at those subtle things, mood changes. Then let's say also about sudden change in sensitivities to, let's say, sounds or sight or smell or touch even. That could also be an indicator that that person may have gone through something which is triggering them. If, let's say, you were not one of those who would get startled easily, but now you get startled very fast, there could be something that have happened to you. You're shying away and you're not talking about it. Okay, so, or overdose or usage of substances. You're somebody who would socially drink, but now you're drinking way more than usual, or you're engaging in other recreational drugs or something way more than you would normally do, right?
Lawyer, let me engage a bit. So, at the time that you found yourself withdrawing, it will be for me, it will be very difficult because naturally you have said that you're not a people person. You're not that person that's outgoing and all of that. And so staying at home would be your default position already.
Absolutely what I was thinking, yeah.
So now you can even identify that now more than ever. Even though you like to stay at home, you're making a conscious effort to even stay at home more.
Yeah.
Now, when you were home, what were you doing?
Sleeping, thinking, yeah.
What was the worst thing you thought about in that period? You didn't feel like doing your normal loyalty things and all that, or?
I think around the time I told them I wasn't going to do it anymore. Yeah, I lost interest in doing it. I felt it was tedious. This was something that I enjoyed doing, but all of a sudden it felt too tedious, and I didn't feel it was rewarding. Why would I put myself in this position more? Because this is what is causing this. I don't want the people,
the fame and the attention.
Yeah, it was too much. It was overwhelming for me, and so I felt, okay, so if I can stop this, then
you'd have your life back.
It would stop people from. But
did they understand you?
No.
The people you were with, your family, friends, people who were doing this part, did they understand what you were saying?
No. I mean, they would ask you why, and I at the time, I didn't really know what's going on with me, and so I would just give reasons that I think, based on who I'm talking to, I would give you reasons that I think would make you stop asking questions or agree
Yeah.
with me.
Yes.
You know, but most of them kept coming back to the topic, asking.
Something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
Charlie, you need to.
At a point, they just knew that it was a decision I had made, and so they
Did
had
you
to
seek help?
respect
At what point did you think that this is not you?
it. Last year, was it 2022?
That will be 2022.
2022.
Because
it was
2023 is
20
good for you,
yes,
so
yes,
to
so
have been
2022.
2022.
Yes, 2022. I was there one night. I think it was 12. I had slept all through the day, and so I was just there in the night watching a movie. After the movie, I was just on my bed thinking, and then I picked my phone, went to Facebook, and I saw how people were praying. I had already heard about it, but so I was like, okay, let me just look at it. So I was just looking at it, and then Pastor Elvis raised a prayer point, and I felt, oh, I need this prayer. This is something I would never think about. I forgot what exactly it was. So I was like, oh, let me just pray with him. So I prayed. The next one came. I felt the same way about it. The next one came. Then I found myself praying. You know, I prayed all through. Then the next day, in the morning, I felt, oh, this was good. You know. Then I got a call for a project. I've forgotten the name. Yeah, so I went. I did it. I came back in the evening. We shot. It got late, so when I came back, it was around 12. So I was like, okay, let me just go and pray again. So I started praying more. Then I started asking myself questions. Okay, so if God has a plan for everybody, and He knows me the way the Bible says He knows me, why would He give somebody like me this to make me famous, for people to come
I'll
at
take your
me
happiness
and,
away.
you know. Then I started getting answers. I started to understand that there's a good in everything. So there's this thing that happens when I'm walking down the street or anywhere, people see me, and at the point they see me, they stop whatever they are doing and they are laughing. So whatever they are going through, at that moment, just by seeing my face, they are laughing.
Actually, I'm doing that now.
You know, so now I begin to understand that I have a certain effect on people. What as a person, I don't even need to. People see me and they say, you are funny. Just by looking at you, you are funny. I'm sitting there, I'm driving, somebody will drive closer and come and tell me, Charlie, will drive in Crestry, and they are laughing, you know. So I am doing something for people. I am helping people. So now I begin to see what I am doing for people. Then I begin to realize that these people love me for what I do. And when they see me, they want to appreciate me. And that is why they are coming to me. They want to come and shake my hand. They want to. It is a form of appreciation.
Okay.
For the things I do for them, for the interaction we have. I don't know them, but they know me through the videos. They know me through the projects they watch. And so now they want to connect. So even though I don't like it, I need to open
Manage
up
it well.
and manage it and interact with them. It's just say something for them to laugh.
Let me ask. Anania, for him, I can relate to him. He came to an understanding after prayer and all that. He came to an understanding of why he's where he is and how it could also benefit him and the people who love him. For those of us who are not funny, and you will not look at my face and laugh, okay, but go through the same thing because we were in the School of Performing Arts together. We studied this. We wanted to be this. So how is it that something we love, we're passionate about, we want to be it, comes and then suddenly you start getting anxiety and depression and all that? What is it for us who we've not prayed, so we don't know whether it is,
So for him, what happened is he found a sense of purpose in his life. You see, for any human, look at this table. There are 3 to 4 legs for it to be stable. For somebody, for any human being to operate or be stable, okay, there are certain legs that you need to balance it, right?
Yeah.
So your eating well, sleeping well, movement of any kind, regulated screen time, and having a sense of purpose are few of the basics that could help you lead a stable life. You get it? So that's the very generic way of looking at people for having a stable life, right? But now coming back to your question, when you said that something you really wanted and you got it, and after that you are not feeling good about it and you're getting anxiety because somewhere in the way there is an expectation attached. You're no longer doing the job for the fun of it. You're doing it because there is some expectations attached, and you're thinking, what if I don't meet those expectations? What if I am no longer as entertaining as I am? There comes these anxiety thoughts. Or I'm tired of people coming to me when I don't want them, and or constantly meeting deadlines and expectations. It is very human to feel all this. You see, we are not likely. So when actors, sometimes you see in social media, every time they are trolled and grilled and roasted for very basic human activities, and people say, oh, we made them actors, we are giving them fame. They chose a profession, they entertained you, you liked it, you are the one who's going to the theaters and watching it. They didn't invite you, kind of literally take your money from your purse to go and watch it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you are going and they are going through normal human emotions, not everybody is likely to be all the time happy, all the time very, jovial or on screen. Character cannot always be there in real life.
I've got two questions, especially because he mentioned that he was praying. One will be seeking help. At what point would a person identify that you have told us the things to look out for? But he is lucky to have joined a prayer session that worked for him. I may feel the same symptoms that he is feeling, but would I find my answer in prayer? I ask this because of misplacements of finding help, when finding help really lies with a psychologist, but a person will seek help with a pastor.
True.
In religion. And so how religion and culture is playing a role in the mental health conversation. I don't know if you're able to talk about that.
See, a lot depends on, I feel, your upbringing. Because religion is something you're born to, your family. You are culturally exposed to it from a very tender age. And you're conditioned to fall back on it every time. God will save you, God will look after you, God will solve your problems. Yes, but have we not also heard that God helps those who help themselves? So how are you helping yourself? By continually denying the appropriate help. Now, when I say appropriate help, when you see that even after, let's say, praying, you're not getting the answers that you need. In today's world, we at least know that we have to forget the stigma associated with mental health. When there are professionals out there, you need to reach out to them. If you can't make it, talk to your family members or support who can do it for you. Okay? Find help at the very first, or early detection is always better. When it exceeds more, or when you're graver into the problem, then it becomes a little more challenging, but I'm not saying that you can't recover from it. You can. But then I'm just trying to say that religion and psychotherapy can go hand in hand. You see something spiritually, you can always pray for it. You will get hope because there's something higher than you. Always. Nobody can deny that. Even science. But along with it, you need to understand there are professional, trained people to actually do your job. If you are hurt physically, would you pray only and not go to the doctor? You wouldn't, right? You would physically go for any problem, wounds to heal. You would go to a doctor. If your car broke down, you'll take it to a mechanic. If you're taking so much of care for your things, why not look after for yourself?
Yeah.
So even if you pray for it, I would suggest please seek help. Go to
Incorporate.
yes.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you were telling us how gradually you were finding purpose. I mean, Doc really just put it in a very perfect way to
Yeah.
tell us that you found purpose. And so when people started coming to you, you started to look at it differently.
Differently, yeah.
What changed about you then?
Now, when I came, when Gordon mentioned my name, I didn't realize it was him. My default is, when I hear a man, yes, boss, or I'll say something, I'll respond in a way that will make you laugh, and I'm okay. You are laughing. So if you come again with any other question, I know that you're expecting something. You're expecting lawyer into something. So I can quickly think of a way to answer your question, and you're happy.
That means you're working 24/7. You have a break?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm at home,
Yeah.
when I'm by myself. Yeah.
Okay, which will still mean that per your default personality, you would like to be at home more.
Now
It's a balance.
there's a
There's a
balance.
balance.
When I'm home,
You're
I
yourself,
am not,
nobody's bothering you, you're
yeah,
enjoying
I'm
the
doing
things you do, yeah.
things. I am learning. I am reading.
Yeah.
I'm doing things that are productive. But I'm not thinking of wild thoughts running
Yeah.
about. I know what I want. I know there's a path. There is something ahead of me. So what can I do to make myself better for the task ahead? And so I am always learning, reading this and that.
Take me back a bit. The time that you started feeling that way, did you have anybody you could speak to?
A cousin of mine, but he was so depressed. the thing is, when
That support group, you see, that support
Yeah.
group, because people are going through similar feelings, they
Yeah.
relate to it.
Right.
So it's good.
It
At
helps.
least
Even the person going through it.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
nice.
okay.
So-
it's good to speak to somebody
Okay,
who
really-
feels it with
because
you.
instead if you're speaking to a
true.
family member
It's true.
or somebody who has never felt other than the professionals, okay, if you talk to them and they give you unnecessary advice or suggestions
Yeah.
which you don't want.
Yeah.
You want to be judgment free. When I talk about professionals, they are non-judgmental and that's a very safe place for clients to come and share
Right.
what's there going on. But when it comes to friends and family, they won't.
So his depressed cousin
Yeah.
that he chose to. Okay, before you spoke to him, did you know that he was depressed?
I mean,
Or it was speaking to him
It
that you
was-
saw that you had similar symptoms?
yeah, we're always talking. We used to live together, and so we're always talking, playing games, So I knew that this, and then he would call me, Charlie, I want to do this and that, Charlie.
Some way.
And then I would also come in, Charlie, me too.
Self, yeah.
Then. So we it was easy for the two of us to talk.
Okay.
It became very easy for us to talk. So we could sit and just talk and talk and talk
Yeah.
and talk. Talk. But there was always this thing, this small thing of God will do it. This small push. We are gloomy and not happy about things. But there's always this small
Encouragement you derive
encouragement.
from each other.
We after everything, we'll just go like a befa, and we push ourselves. Sometimes when I say I want to something, there's a gig, I don't want to go and do it. He would talk to me. He has a way of using some things I have used to advise him. So we are balancing each other that
Okay.
way, and so
Let's stay on
it
the
helped.
support group, though.
Yes.
If you're lucky to find a cousin or a relative or a friend like him, despite him being depressed as well, at least both of them were encouraging.
Yeah.
What if you're unlucky and you get to speak to somebody who is in similar situation, but how do you know they are helping you at all? How do you know you're feeding, or how do you know
Okay.
you must stay there?
Okay, so we are all social human beings, right? We want connection. We are wired for it, right? So when you're talking to somebody and you see that your energy levels are being draining further down, you don't feel, because if the one in front of me is constantly complaining and complaining and complaining and is not giving you any kind of feel good emotions within, or even motivation, because for him there was some hope every time they said God will do it. Okay,
Yeah.
there was hope, there was a support towards each other. But when you see that that is not there, you're draining. You know, there are a lot of people you connect and talk to, and then you're, oh my God, this person took the soul out of me almost, right? So that is people, you realize that, oh, they are not good for me. I can talk to them, but not for long.
I ask because if you're not okay, it might be difficult for you to identify that this person I'm speaking to is not helping
Yeah.
me, especially if the person is feeling both of you are in
In
the
a
same
similar-
situation.
yeah, sure.
You just might not be lucky to know that, no way, this person is draining me. But I can take your word for sure that at least you can find something. You realize that the person drains you even more than lifting you up. Let's talk about how to,
But, yeah.
how to manage these
Solutions.
things and solutions. The spectrum, the well-being, and by the time you're even diagnosed as being sickness, you have control over the well-being or
Of course, the well-being.
the well-being. Okay,
Because
so how can we not get to
in
that?
the sense of control over, the only thing that you have any control is your own self, your thoughts, feelings, behavior, your reaction, responses, everything to do with you, you have some control over.
Okay.
So when you realize that, for that you need to do a little self-reflection almost daily. Okay.
Okay.
How did my day go today? How was I feeling? So a regular mini check-in is very, very important. Then I would suggest, if you start the day, we are all hooked to this small gadget,
Yes.
telephone. As soon as we wake up, we have our mobiles with us, and till the time we actually go to where then the phone falls on our face, it's still with
Again,
us.
this one.
Right? So this is created for our use, not misuse. We are becoming slaves to that gadget. So start your day, to our advice is that please start your day without any gadget. No news, no nothing. Start your day with an intention, connect with yourself, check in. How do I want my day to go? Okay, what do I want to at least accomplish? Top 1 or 2 important things that today I want to do. At the same time, when I look at these accomplishment goals, I'll also say try and aim for at least one pleasurable activity. But by pleasure, I don't mean drinking and I like to indulge in alcohol, so that gives me pleasure, so I will drink. No, pleasurable activity which is helpful for you, healthy.
Not being a bit of alcohol to keep the spirit alive, like a shot or something
You know what?
kicks you.
Anything in moderation is okay, but
Yeah.
as long as if it is increasing day by day and your tolerance is going up, it's not healthy. Even one bit of chocolate is also good for you, right?
Yeah.
It gives that thing, but then even coffee,
Yeah.
everything is good. But then we all know
Guilty.
that, see, but the thing is, anything in excess is always bad. So start your day with an intention, how you want to go about without gadgets. And when you end the day, again, reflect and check in without gadgets. Have a nighttime routine. Sleep is very, very important.
Tell
If
me
you
about
don't rest well, you're likely to have a very taxed brain, unrested brain, which is, the brain is the only thing, which is why we are able to even think, process, talk, do everything that we do. If this is not well rested, how are we supposed to function well, right?
Beautiful.
So having a very night-time routine, having a particular sleep hygiene is very, very important.
How do you
That's
deal
the
with
practical
toxic
step.
people that
Sorry.
in
So those
one-
are quite practical steps to
Yeah,
take for
very
your day.
practical.
In a day. And taking it day by day will help throughout the year, right?
Of course.
Every month.
Take one day at a time. Don't try to, even if you have this being the new year, everybody starts with a resolution.
Yeah.
Okay? I'd say start with intentions and not resolutions. When you have a big goal, you have an intent. Why do you want to achieve that? What is your why power? Focus on that. And then break it down into very, very small chunks, doable, realistic goals and
Yeah.
steps that you can achieve on daily basis, so that it doesn't feel overwhelming. And you don't have to start all your resolutions or goals at the very first week. Okay, you can start small,
Yeah.
start one at a time, one by one. Once you get comfortable with one particular thing, you can add on the next. For somebody who wants to add, water, hydrate themselves well, they have to drink.
empty.
Yes, yes,
Look, hers is still there. Mine is empty. I love water.
you should.
Thank you
should.
very much.
I have a quick one as well
Yes.
in wrapping this conversation. That how do you deal with an essential tool or essential person that provides a very basic, a very basic need in your very existence? It could be your work, it could be your family, it could be your husband, and that husband or wife could be toxic, or your work environment
question.
is
Good question.
is toxic, but that is what is your
You need.
source of
Yeah.
You have to be
you
there.
Yeah.
have to be there.
must happen.
How do you deal with that?
Okay. So for that, you need to always understand if it is relationship that you're looking at, especially if it's a family member, your parents or your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend, you are a separate entity from them. Generally, when we think of relationship, we think we are couples, so we are one. Everything that follows has to be together. No. You things that comes in between. So you as a couple, you as an individual, and that person as an individual. So when there is a portion where you as an individual, you cannot control him or her, right? And there is very little influence over, let's say, the couple unit portion, but there's full control over what you're going to do with yourself or your time. So when you realize that my partner is not as supportive or it's very toxic for me, you have few options to go for, obviously. One is either you continue and cry and crib about it and fight with each other every day. You obviously move yourself away from that toxic situation or person, or you learn to adjust around it. So in stress management, we always say there are 4 A's to it. Like, for example, first is avoid, then there's alter, then there is adapt, and then there is accept. So when I come to avoidance, if there is some conflict you can avoid it to the fullest potential. Then if you can alter the way of maneuver it around in a way which is fruitful for you, great. But if these 2 options are not possible, then try and adapt yourself in a way where you can have a very fulfilling life. Okay, have a separate entity, as in like you start indulging in activities that gives you joy, gives you meaning. Okay. And the 4th is accept. If there is something you can't do anything about. When it comes to job, you think this is the only job I have. Not really. We could always change. We could always move. The option lies with us.
Sounds so easy, but yeah, I can imagine.
Of course, there will be some challenges to it. Obviously, for every choice that you have, there is consequence that you need to deal with. So if you choose to be in that toxic environment,
job.
there are some consequences you have to bear.
Yeah. Sure.
But then if you choose to alter, adapt, or accept, or even completely move out of it, there are some consequences as well.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
so cool.
I want you to reiterate some points, some very important points that you've made in this our conversation. You mentioned 4 variables earlier that you must look out for.
Yeah, intensity, the
Intensity,
functionality,
duration,
functionality.
frequency, and functionality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that these 4 at least.
Measure it.
And then, when you find yourself in the most difficult situations, it's what do they say? A hard place on a rock, right? You find yourself there. What do? Avoidance, adapt,
Alter and
accept.
or
accept.
accept.
That's
Toss
so
these
cool.
around and find it. It's a
That's so
very
cool.
good one. These 4 things will live with me so much. We'll come back to you to tell us where and how. I mean, we want to refer people to you so that they can start the year very, very well. But I mean, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it says a lot that you want to laugh.
I don't want to do that. How do you feel about yourself? Your progress now. What do you feel? How do you feel about
I
yourself?
feel very good about myself now. Very good. I feel very good. I have connected with myself in a very good way.
Beautiful.
I have connected with God in a very good way, and things are good.
like
You-
that.
and so
I
you're sure
have
that
it.
you don't need to see a professional.
Yes.
Would you attempt
So
it?
you see, the thing is, when I was going through these things, at the time I didn't know I was depressed.
Ah.
It was after I came out of it, then I realized I
so
read
I was-
around and I realized, oh, I was depressed. Then I figured, no, when I have the chance to talk about it, I should talk about it so that because people look up to us
Yeah.
in so many ways, so that people can, look at us differently, see us as human beings, because we all need that.
a good thing you've
it.
done.
Otherwise, they see you as the guy on TV, the rich guy that
Makes you,
as soon as you're on TV,
who makes you
you're rich.
laugh? You should just, when I see you, must laugh. You know.
Those are labels
Yeah,
people
just-
put on you, but then first, the only label that you have is that you're human first.
Yes.
Yeah.
At any level, whatever be your profession or anything, or your status, first you're a human being, and you're worth it because you're human and alive.
Yeah.
Okay. What a great thing about him is that he connected not only with himself but also, with God and anything. So that's 2 to 3 parts of his mental well-being. He has done it able. Now with mental illness, I must say that they may recur in life.
That's it. They're evolving.
Yeah.
As you
So they
grow,
may
yeah.
recur in life, because today what may stress me, I have overcome, but there could be another stressor
Absolutely.
that may come my way, and I may again get those symptoms. So for him, right now, far more educated and aware to seek help at the earliest whenever he
Yes.
feels
That way.
Exactly.
similar to those symptoms again.
Exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
So that's very, very helpful for anybody. Even if you're not aware at the first chance, maybe he's lucky he could come out of his own.
Yeah.
But then, not many people do. Okay, so for them, I must say that it's like any physical illness, mental illnesses are also like that. It may recur, so don't feel bad. Oh my God, I just came out of it. Why again? It's likely.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
It's okay.
he's going to get married. Kids are going to come in.
That's another level of
economic,
stress.
yes, another, so.
Right.
Yeah.
How's the year looking for you? So you like to make people laugh. What do you do for fun?
Watch a movie.
Do you watch yourself? Do you watch your own movies?
No, I don't enjoy my projects.
You don't?
I don't enjoy
Okay.
my projects.
But you watch movies
Yeah.
regularly. Are you sure you're not working when you're watching movies? Like, how did they do the lighting,
Oh
production?
yeah, I'm always.
So
Working.
is that
I'm
really
always
fun
working.
for you?
I watched your project with Nadia, and
21 days in...
yes, I was so proud of you, and I remembered back then the few things we did together,
Yeah.
and how you have grown, and so when I was watching, I was actually just paying attention to what you are doing different now. And I'm picking these things. So I'm always working when I'm watching a project. I'm always working. I'm looking out for ideas. I can see something, one scene, and just open up
lighting,
something,
yeah,
light up
beautiful.
something in my
Okay,
mind.
so alcohol, chocolate, women, weed. What are some of the things
Your
you
guilty
indulge
pleasure.
in? That's what's called, eh?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Guilty pleasure.
Which one are you guilty of?
I used to drink, but now I don't.
Wow.
It was so bad that those times, before I stood anywhere to perform, I have to
wanted
drink
to.
something.
Wow.
Even to be able to, when I have to go for an event, I won't do anything, just go. And I know people will come to me and laugh with me. I have to drink. I have to have something to put
Some
me in,
aid.
in
In a certain mood.
but now I'm okay. I'm able to. Sometimes I forget. I remember these days and the way I am able to do these things without drinking, and I'm amazed. It's just great.
Who would have thought?
I'm not a doctor, but to add to it, you're going to say something. I'm an advocate for physical, for exercising and fitness. So yeah, add that to your, I think you should add that to your routine. Because that feeling that alcohol gives, that weed gives, workout gives as well.
Oh,
When
of
you work out,
course,
you
of
get
course.
that same feeling.
Exercise or any kind of movement, for that matter of fact, is a very underrated antidepressant.
Thank you very much.
underrated. You need to move, even if it is
Just walking.
walking. Anything. I can't recommend a specific workout routine.
Yeah.
It all depends on individual's time, health, as well as priority. These are few things which will decide what kind of workout you want to do. While doing it, it shouldn't feel like punishment.
Yeah.
You should work out because you get to do it.
Yeah.
Because your body wants it
Yeah.
and you want it.
Yes.
Not because it's a punishment or a goal to achieve,
Something,
to fit
yeah.
into a clothes or something. No.
Well, that can,
Yes. So that's not the right motivation
Yeah.
to actually go out and work out.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
What's a year looking like for you?
Yesterday I went through my plans and I was telling myself this year is going to be great.
It will be.
It will be great.
It will
bro.
be.
Yeah.
It will be.
I'm going to be intentional about things. I'm not going to use motivation alone. I am going to be intentional. I want to do this. This is the plan. Break them down. Let's achieve this by this time.
All the best
it's
with
looking
it.
good. Thank
All
you
the best.
very much.
Doc, where can we find you? I must say that I totally love
Yeah.
and
Thank
enjoy
you.
the conversation.
Thank you,
You
thank
take
you.
my mind to places that I didn't think that, and I love it. And so
Thank you.
I would like to see you again, and I'm sure that people out there like to see you again. So how?
So I currently work at Equilinks Counseling and Psychological Support, which is in Sakamono.
Okay.
Okay, so but then they do online therapy as well.
Okay.
For people who can't walk in, but then we always prefer, it's a private clinic actually. So it's a very, very discreet and very nice place for clients to come in.
Okay.
And we have a team of doctors are there, so depending upon your need, and it's strictly appointment basis.
Okay.
So nobody gets to know who is coming when, so your confidentiality is strictly maintained.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
yeah.
Your contact?
Oh.
Social media?
Oh, okay. My personal social media is Therapy Lens on Instagram,
Therapy
Okay.
Lens.
and you can find me on Facebook also as with the same name, Ananya Chaudhary.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Senior,
Bro.
loyalty. Your social media is
Intimidation.
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 Yes. Intimidation. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. Wish you a
It's a
happy
beautiful
new year.
refreshing conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel
I
so
guess
well.
you feel like Godwin now to be able
so
to
well.
start your year very well. Take your time with yourself. Focus on your mental health so that you're mentally okay to start the year. And don't hesitate to seek help at any time. You can check her out at Therapy Lens on social media. Send a message, book an appointment, and you'll be fine. Okay? All right, so we get to talk to Tyrone Magai. Please stay.